it going, guys? Well, we'll jump right into it. Chris will probably moderating, and we'll just kind of work our way down the list, for various approaches on how to look at directing and look at working with actors and looking at showrunning a little bit. So if you just want to introduce yourselves and either say what you're here for or what your directing experience is, just kind of keep it short, nothing too crazy.
Sure.
But,
I'm here because I'm in a project called Game Nights, a screening at the Indie Series block at 7 p.m. I directed it, and it was basically just like a little half-animated, half-live-action Dungeons & Dragons parody role-playing series that we're launching.
Cool. I'm Ron Newcomb. I directed a full-length feature narrative. We'll be filming, or rather showing, tomorrow night at 9:30 in the Grand Ballroom 5. We're going to be giving out some cool little swag. Lord of the Rings Online is in our movie, so if you guys are interested in getting some of these guys out. But I've directed probably about a dozen shorts and directed 2 features and AD'd another, and also do a little acting too, so I could probably speak to that if you're interested, like how do you direct and act in the same things. So.
My name is Dan Harris. I'm director and co-founder with Red Lake Films. We have a short musical comedy, actually, in the gaming comedy block tomorrow night at 6:30. It's called Roll Initiative, a D&D musical. So come by and check it out. And I've directed, I think I have 8 shorts under my belt right now, and I've also assistant directed 5 features.
Awesome. I'm Daniel Knight from Snowgummer Films. I'm predominantly here for Blood on the Game Dice, which is screening in the same block as Roll Initiative. And I've been directing for about 15 years now. Music videos, short films, web serials, plays, you name it.
I'm Jim Brzelik. I directed a feature, Misfit Heights, a zombie puppet musical. It'll be showing later tonight at 10, and again tomorrow at 6.
Great. And I'm Chris Luthman. I directed a few dozen shorts, that horror feature here and there, all sorts of stuff like that. And I have a short playing in the 8:30 Zombie Orpheus screening room, and another one that I assistant directed on in the 10:30 Sci-Fi Fantasy block. Anyway, this panel's here for you guys. So if we could get a quick gauge of, do you want to shout out some topics that you're interested in people talking about, or else we have a few things lined up? Yeah.
I have directed a lot of shorts, and I'm not sure how to move on from doing that. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's. I can't really.
Do you mean from a practical point of view, or a director's mentality point of view?
I guess it's like, yeah. How do I?
The scope, different scope.
Are you a writer-director or just director?
Well, mostly just directing, because I have other people who either improv for me or write for me, and I've done film festivals and all kinds of things. And some of my stuff is okay. I've never won an award or anything, but. Well, I'm sorry, I did win an award, but it was for Lego short. But still, I guess I'm just not sure how to just jump in. I don't know. Is that? I don't know.
Personally, I would say, yeah, jump in. But if you're comfortable working in shorts, then shoot it in shorts and then put it all together as a film afterwards.
Okay.
Shoot it in segments if it's easier. I know that I understand that even getting a project together. Well, when it comes from the director point of view. I would kind of say just jump in, from my point of view.
Yeah, I would probably follow that up as well. To me, a short is that ultimately my desire is feature film. That's where I want to go, full-length feature. So that's the angle of the lens that I see it through. And I think a feature is nothing more than just multiple shorts. You still are, each day is taken. Each scene has a beginning, middle, and end. Each character has motivation that you as a director needs to pull out. You're still setting your shots up as from shorts to features, and yeah, you're conscious of the feature level that you have a higher budget and that you're maintaining that, but you're still trying to do it to excellence at a short. You're not just screw it, I'm doing a short and gaff it off. I'm still trying to maintain that sense of excellence. So I don't think you're going to find much difference. Yeah, the stress level is a little bit different. You're still telling the story.
Your schedule's probably going to be a little.
Yeah, you're going to work. 35 days. But
yeah, it's all about confidence about your schedule when you're hitting that kind of thing, because you don't have nights, it's not just nights and weekends or something like that. So I guess preparation for that kind of like
That's true.
marathon.
Yeah, so you're gonna need more preparation for features for sure. The more you put in, it's gonna, you know, I mean, Misfit Heights, you guys can even attend to that.
Yeah, really the difference for myself between making a short and making a feature was really just doing all the same stuff I did for the short, but like 4 times as much
Yeah.
each step of the way. And,
The process doesn't change.
yeah.
It's just more of it.
Yeah, you're ready.
Pull the trigger.
Yeah, pull the trigger.
Yeah,
He
that's
stands
right.
up and leaves the room. So anyway, I mean, there are a few different ways of thinking about directing, depending on the size of the show. Obviously, you know, short feature, $1 million budget versus, you know, food and snacks. But keeping that in mind, I guess, do you have any advice on show running or directing in general? If you could boil down your years of experience into a little nugget that hopefully the person before you, doesn't repeat.
I would say, you know, from personal experience from shooting game nights, this was the first time I ever directed 6 people at once at the same time, since they're sitting around the table at the same time. That was a different thing. But basically, directing kids is a different thing. But what was your question?
I guess I was looking for that little nugget of advice that if somebody goes, I want to be a director, do you have any advice? Like, just
love it, find the people who love it as well, get together constantly, plan, you know, and don't worry about failure. I would say this to a director, just get your hands dirty. Don't worry, if you learn way more from failure than you do from success. And if you were to succeed 100 times in a row, it would be a false sense of security, because 101 time would show up and you would fail and you would not know what to do. You would not have learned that much. It's a journey. So I would just say, like, you know, dive in, you know, but plan, obviously.
Yeah, I think almost anybody in the room could probably give some advice. There's a lot of good directors. A lot of you guys are great directors. But from my vantage point, I would say, you know, surrounding the team. That, because you're the director, everyone's going to see that, well, if you have a question, go up to the director, they're going to know. And that's probably the last person they should be, you know, going to, because you're focused on the next setup. So having a team, that kind of, you know, person that can field those things. And then the other thing from an independent level, everybody wants another take. I go no more generally than 3 takes. The actors want another take, your editor needs another take, you know, your sound guy needs another take. 3 takes, and I'm asking why. So that would be my other little nugget.
You use a lot more professional actors, SAG actors.
Yes, on this one, yeah, because we went union, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I have to take way more takes if I'm.
Yeah, that's true.
SAG actor.
Well, like I mentioned before, I come from, when I was in film school, I started getting, because I wanted to be a director, I started getting into assistant directing. When I was the first assistant director on features and stuff like that. And the way I describe the difference between a director and assistant director is it's the director's job to make a really good movie, and it's the AD's job just to make a movie. You know, an AD doesn't care if it's good. If it's on schedule and on budget, that's a win. That's a win for the assistant director. But when you AD, you get to learn how to make movies. And the more you as a director understand the process of camera department, you understand what art means, you understand what sound means, the more successful you're going to be, and it's going to feed into your preparation work. So before you walk on set, you have your pre-production packet that you can give out to the entire crew, and everybody knows what they need. And you should also have a really good first AD. So like, if art department needs something, if they have a question, they're not asking you because you need to be directing, they're asking your first AD, and that first AD is very prepared and is able to answer those questions.
The best bit of advice that I can give is to surround yourself with people that are much better at the job than you are.
There you go.
As a director, your job is to be a communicator. That is it. You are just communicating. And that is your ideas to your cast and crew, and then they need to communicate what they're doing to the audience at the end of the day. And if your cast and crew are awesome, your film is going to be awesome, provided you can communicate to them what you need to do.
That was pretty much the communication half is what I was going to say. Know what you want, and then know your crew and know how to talk to them to get you what you want. Yeah, communication, that ended up being
Let's do the flip side of that. What if you're working with a crew, and you know, for some of the low budgets out there, what if you're working with an inexperienced crew or inexperienced departments, or if it falls into the same umbrella, inexperienced actors? Do you have any advice for that experience? Because there are a lot of people in small towns that are just trying to get it done.
Well, hopefully you're at the same experience level as them, so it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You can all make mistakes together and grow together, and that's predominantly what I did with Snow Gum Films, is we all grew up together learning our craft. And
Yeah, it's going to be a learning process for everybody, no matter what level you're at. So if you're at a lower level, then you can just be aware that like if you can take time off. My last short I did, we had a boom operator who, a sound guy who necessarily didn't do boom. We did a 10-minute crash course right there on the set, started boom mic, and he did an amazing job. So I think it's education. As a director, you have to make sure what the skill sets of everybody who's working underneath you has. And if they follow the light, and if you don't even have that education, get at least some resources to the person so they feel empowered in their department, because it's all about department heads.
Yeah, and I would say that it's in your community, we all know other filmmakers, and if you don't, there's a university, a school, a film office, and you can find those seasoned people. And there's certain, like he indicated, department heads that you want. Everyone talks about an independent film. We all know the number one thing we need to have is sound. You gotta have great sound. And so you want that guy on point, and you can't have a rookie doing, the boom op's fine, that's one thing, but your sound recordist, no, he's gotta know what's going on and not, mess it up. Yeah, your cinematographer, things like that they're your department heads. I would say you're trying to find your more seasoned guys, but I agree too. I mean, once you find people, you don't have to keep finding people. You use the same people, over. Like, hey, dude, we're going again, man. Let's do it. And then you all get better together. So.
Yeah, and then going back into the communication thing that these two guys touched on, you should know the skill level of your actors and your crew going into it. You shouldn't be finding this stuff out during production. So, that's part of your preparation process. Know what kind of tools you have available to you, including the personnel that you have available to you. And if you find people that are just, their skill level is not as high as some people you've worked with in the past or whatever it is, you just know how to communicate to them differently. And they'll be able to. Yeah, no, and if they have a passion for it, there's a lot of technical jargon on a film set, and especially inside camera department, you just don't start throwing all those words at people. If they don't understand it, then just slow it down, talk to them differently, and they'll catch up.
Yeah.
For a crew that doesn't know what they're doing, basically they're just really enthusiastic friends. I had a lot of those. The thing that I found most helpful was to basically be a cheerleader. Let them know that, no, yeah, that was terrible, but let's try it again. Let's keep going, and to keep spirits up, because if you can keep these inexperienced volunteers' spirits up, they will keep volunteering for you. Yeah,
At the very least. Even if they drive forever, so that's a little bit about direct. Why don't we talk about working with actors, kind of the same sort of, do you have a little nugget of advice, either working with professionals or inexperienced, just something that helps you get the performance that may not be common knowledge, or just something that really works for you?
What works for me working with actors is, first of all, I would suggest taking an acting class if you're going to direct actors, because you need to know how to talk to. There's an acting language, and I don't want to get into, like you said, the jargon and whatnot, but at the same time, you have to be in that position to understand what that position is. And so my piece of advice would just be take an acting class. Try for yourself, and even if you don't want to be an actor, it's invaluable.
What I do is I ask questions, and every time